Before we get going with my interview with Congressman Randy Fine, I want to address the picture that the anti-Semitic lobby has been trying to claim is a victim, a Palestinian child baby victim of Israeli aggression. As we see here, and as Congressman Fine will point out very soon, you can see that it was actually a photo from the Syrian civil war. So you have the Azaz airstrike in Syria leaves 30 dead, the 15th of August, 2012. This is what we're talking about. There's 30 people killed by Assad. Now we go over where is the first time that this shows up? Right here. This is the photo of the child, the body that was recovered in the rubble in the Azaz massacre from 2012. Okay? This doesn't stop the anti-Semitic hate being directed toward Congressman Fine and others on X or otherwise, and is the heart of the question or the concern that Tucker Carlson brings up on stage with Megyn Kelly. It just wasn't true. And as Congressman Fine will point out, that does not stop the people that hate Israel and hate America from doing such things. Welcome to the Mail Time Podcast. I'm joined today by Congressman Randy Fine of Florida. He's been in the news quite a lot, going back and forth with Tucker Carlson, whom he declared is the biggest anti-Semite in America. Congressman Fine, first of all, thank you so much for joining. What is your thought on Tucker's back and forth with Megyn Kelly yesterday, in which he declared that you were more dangerous than Nick Fuentes?
Well, I think it's insane. I called him the most dangerous anti-Semite in America, and I should explain why. He's dangerous because to most Americans and most conservatives, they remember a person fundamentally different than the person that is today. They remember the Tucker from Fox News, the Tucker that my dad would hang up on me because he wanted to go and watch Tucker. They don't listen to his podcast every day. They don't understand that he has descended in some sort of madness where everything about America is terrible, that Russia is good and China's not bad and Iran is our friend and Hamas is not a terrorist organization and Sharia law is okay. I mean, the guy has become a lunatic. And I think you can see it. I mean, I'm very, very tough on Muslim terror, but I stand by everything that I've ever said. And in those comments last night, Tucker not only lied about things that I have said, but even if they were true, to say that they are worse than someone who has claimed that the Holocaust never happened, that women should be raped, the things he said about black people and other things, to say that I'm worse than Nick Fuentes, it is an extraordinary statement. The other thing I would note, Tucker likes to often say all he does is ask questions. Well, for the last night, he said that Israel engaged in a genocide, which all of the data shows is a lie. So I think Tucker has sort of crossed the Rubicon into lunacy. And again, because of his reputation, I think that is what has made him incredibly dangerous.
And I want to go to this clip exactly so we can just go bit by bit on it. I think it's helpful if you can hear it.
As far as I know, Nick Fuentes hasn't eaten anyone. You know, I mean, Jeffrey Dahmer ate people, and he was platformed by Diane Sawyer.
We have a sitting member of Congress. I spoke to the Speaker of the House about this today. We have a sitting member of Congress from Florida called Randy Fine, who was literally texted or put on Twitter, "We should kill them all."
Congressman, did you ever say we should kill them all? I went through multiple Twitter feeds of you, and I never saw you ever say that.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
If your wife says that you have roaches in your house or bed bugs, might you say we should kill them all? I think that the comment that he's probably referencing was a comment about Hamas terrorists, to which I responded something like, we should kill them all. By the way, I believe the overwhelming majority of Americans believe that we should kill all Hamas terrorists. But note that Tucker he didn't even say who I was saying killing. I could have been saying kill all the mosquitoes at a camp out. He just said we should kill them all, did not provide what that was in response to. But I think you should go back, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
I think if we're going to do this little clip by clip, I think you should. I think you should go back. I think there's multiple interesting things in there before we even get to that. I
Well,
think, yeah, go ahead.
Well, there definitely are. I also just want to comment, and this is something
Sure.
that is the outrage mob online doesn't necessarily like to do this, but I printed out one of your tweets, which is very interesting to me, from October 16th, 2023, in which you said, "It's unfortunate that Hamas will not allow Muslims from other countries to leave Gaza, and that Egypt will not allow their fellow Muslims to enter. We must speak out against the Muslim on Muslim genocide." So he's specifically trying to manipulate the audience into believing that you're kind of calling for the death of every single person. Of course, you know that there are innocent people in Gaza. There was a democratically elected terrorist organization which was supported by the overwhelming majority of people in Gaza that waged an attempted genocide on October 7th, 2023. And you are speaking out about Israeli attempts with American support to stop the jihadist terror. That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about every single person in Gaza. That, of course, no honest person thinks that's what you're talking about.
No. But again, Tucker Carlson's not honest. And again, if he was, he would put forth the whatever tweet it is that he's referencing, and also what I might be responding to. I mean, again, someone could have made a tweet. It's not about roaches, but my point is, we should kill them all. Who is them? He
Correct.
puts out the comment and then is just allowing people to fill in the blanks. It's because he's a combination of not honest and not very smart.
And I also think that it's worth noting that when I was doing research here before in anticipation of this interview, CARE, which is supporting a lot of these anti-American causes, actually has compiled basically a list of the greatest hits of people they think are Islamophobic, and the quote unquote "we should kill them all" actually comes from a representative from Tennessee. So it's clear that he's even confused on perhaps what he got from the CARE packet. I'm not sure if Tucker Carlson is openly aligned with CARE, but at least in this case, he seems to be promoting some of their propaganda.
Well, he's funded by the same. He's funded by the same people. I mean, CARE is Muslim Brotherhood entity in the United States, and so is Tucker. I mean, so they're singing from the same songbook, and I suspect part of the reason that, look, I've been fighting radical Islam. That's not even radical. Sorry, mainstream Islam in the United States for the entirety of my time in politics. It's why Florida is the safest place in America to not have to deal with these lunatics. And I think that they come up with these things to try to minimize me, and I think they asked Tucker Carlson as part of his job duties to attack me because I'm not afraid. And so again, it's nonsense. But again, if Tucker was honest, he would have shared whatever tweet he's mentioning or comment he's mentioning. He should have shared what came before that, because I suspect what you would see, it's a commentary on Hamas and Hamas terrorists. And I do believe we should have killed all Hamas terrorists. And I believe that's the policy of just about everybody.
Correct. Now, if I want to continue with this clip here, and I'll add that in anticipation, I'll share this clip. I'll add something before I ask you a question.
Every single one. Someone texted a picture of literally a dead baby, and he laughs at it. And it's like, this guy's a lawmaker who's appropriating money to a military committing genocide, and that's cool? It's not cool.
No.
And let's just be honest. That is much worse than anything Nick Fuentes has said.
Okay, so I'm just going to give the context of that tweet here, and it said, the person that sent this to you on June 4th, 2021 said, "Supporting killing innocent people and babies and smearing voices that fight against genocide for some AIPAC money says a lot about your character. You should be ashamed of yourself. How do you sleep at night?" With a picture of this, we're not sure if it's accurate or not, but you said, "Quite well, actually. Thanks for the pic." Now, if I'm not a betting man, but if I had a bet, you were simply inundated with anti-Semitic tweets from people from all corners of the internet that are repeatedly targeting anyone who supports Israel and is a publicly elected official. And in that context, you responded I'm not going to say without complete thought, but you responded because you're getting tens of thousands of anti-Semitic messages every single day. And that's the heart of that message there. Correct or not?
No, you give me too much credit. I get pictures like that all the time. And you know what I do when I get those pictures? I take 30 seconds to run those pictures through a photo search. Now, that was a picture of a baby, allegedly, who was killed by Israel in Gaza. The picture's fake. It's fake. Now, it actually is a dead baby, but it is a dead baby who was killed, not in 2019 when the picture was sent to me, not in Gaza, not in Israel, not in Judea and Samaria. It was a baby that was killed in 2012 in Syria. And I thank the person for sending me the pic because they prove the point that I make. If Jews were killing babies in Gaza, this widespread genocide, as these morons like to say, you wouldn't have to use fake pictures. And that's why I thank the person, because the picture is fake. So you have to ask yourself, if Tucker Carlson wants to go on, by the way, it's not the first time that he's mentioned the photograph, why does Tucker Carlson with his army of staff not do what I did? 30 seconds, check the photograph. Why do they not do that? Because they want it to be true. They want it. They have a lust of Jew hatred, and they want it to be true that Jews are killing babies. We're not. Israel's not. I'm not. The picture's
And notice
fake.
this was from 2021. This isn't even the
Yeah,
current
there was
war in
another.
Gaza.
There was another.
Correct.
That was the midst of another fight between Muslim terrorists and Israel. So there was something going on in the middle of it. But it is a fact to say that neither of these things that Tucker has taken such an issue with happened while I was a member of Congress. I think that's a fair point to be made. But again, this photograph, 30-second photo search, 30 seconds. You don't have to hire the FBI. You don't have to hire professionals. It takes you 30 seconds to find out that the picture's fake. And so really the scandal here is how someone who trots himself out as someone who just asks questions, just wants to get to the truth, is either too stupid or too lazy or too filled with hate to take that 30 seconds. But again, I would note the picture is not of a dead baby killed by Jews in Gaza. It's in another country years before. And why not? Why not find that out? And if what they claim, again, later in that clip, you will see Tucker refers to genocide. In a genocide, it is not hard to find these clips.
And Megyn Kelly says yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's very, very disappointing.
So
I just think it's the laziness of their intellectual. These are not smart people, and they are filled with hate. So there's the deal with the picture. It's a fake picture. And by the way, I thanked the person for sending it to me because it proves my point. It's not real. None of this is real. And look, if Tucker wants to expose himself as an idiot every day and the most dangerous anti-Semite in America, he's allowed to do that. But the guy's just a clown. And I'm not going to
add here. I'll add here that the difference between, I mean, it's insulting to even put you in the same sentence as Nick Fuentes, but Nick Fuentes is openly boasting about how he's a white nationalist and a racist and a Hitler supporter and a Stalin supporter. And when you call him on any of these things, he is proud of it.
And so why does Tucker think I'm worse than Nick Fuentes? Because Tucker agrees with Nick Fuentes. That is the reason. And so when you share Nick Fuentes' worldview, as we must conclude at this point that Tucker Carlson does, of course I would be worse because I stand up to Nazis like Tucker, like Nick Fuentes. Tucker is the modern day leader of the Hitler Youth. It is a mantle that he has chosen to take on. That's fine. That's his choice. But people like me are not going to be afraid to stand up and to fight back. And so, but you know, the commentary about genocide as well, that may be a bit newsworthy as well. I mean, remember, Tucker's always statement is, I just ask questions. I don't know that prior to last night, as he has this seething rage as the most junior Republican in Congress calls him out. as he goes whining to the speaker to talk about me. The funny thing about genocide, Israel had the ability to do what they claim it was doing. If Israel had wanted to kill everyone in Gaza on October 8th, it could have done it. And what's so offensive about that is almost 1,000 IDF soldiers died in order to prevent genocide. Because if they just wanted to wipe them out, they could have done it. Those soldiers died in Gaza fighting, in large part to minimize the number of so-called civilians who died. The only genocide that's taken place in that part of the world is the Muslim genocide against Jews. On October 7th, when they invaded Israel, their goal was to kill every man, woman, and child. And the only reason the genocide stopped is because the IDF fought back. Had the IDF never shown up, they would have killed and killed and killed and killed. And again, there are Muslim genocides going on all over. There's a Muslim genocide going on in Syria for the Druze. There's a Muslim genocide going on in Nigeria of Christians. There are genocides going on in the world. They are just not being done by Israelis towards Gazans. And the fact that Tucker would make that point again shows the guy's just not very bright. And I think that's
before I let you go, you actually led to my last question. You mentioned Syria on a podcast of Tucker Carlson's with Jeffrey Sachs that was actually sponsored by the Heritage Foundation. They claimed that it was an Israeli plot or Israeli interest that pushed America into the Syrian conflict. And there was no American interest, there's no humanitarian interest, nothing, just Israel. And that it's Israel's fault, essentially, for destabilizing the politics of Europe as a result of the U.S. involvement in Syria. I want to focus on the Heritage Foundation. You pulled out an event.
Yeah.
Do you see progress in them redeeming their name and moving forward?
No, I think at this point, I think Kevin Roberts has done such extraordinary damage to the institution that I think that he is irreparably damaged as long as he's associated with it. Both the statement last week and everything that has come out has simply made it worse. And again, I think we're talking about stupid people here who conflate the idea of criticism with cancellation. It's because their arguments are weak. I'm not calling for Tucker to be canceled. Canceled means Amazon Web Services won't host your technology. It means that YouTube and X and Meta take you down. It means banks won't let you have a bank account. That actually happened to people, as you know. No one's calling for that. If Tucker wants to run the Hitler Youth Power Hour, then he has every right to do that. That is America. But we have the right to criticize it, and we also have the right to decide who we choose to associate ourselves with. And organizations that choose to associate with the most dangerous anti-Semite in America and the modern-day leader of the Hitler Youth are not organizations that I am going to have anything to do with, which is why we and many others have ended our association with Heritage. Their materials are not welcome in my office. We will not hire interns that continue to be associated. I'm not going to hold anybody responsible for what happened, say, before November 1st, but we are not going to work with people who stand with Nazism, which is what Kevin Roberts has chosen to do.
Congressman Fine, thank you so much for joining me. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.